Hey guys, it's Derek here with Destined, and here's the next episode in the video production company series, and it's a video of us installing Nextcloud, getting it running in a Docker container, and set up and accessible through Tailscale, so we can access all of our things remotely. So, without further ado, here's the video, and I hope you really enjoy. So you might be asking a few questions, and what is Nextcloud? Why did you guys choose Nextcloud? What's the difference between running a third-party service like Google Box, Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, or iCloud? And, well, stick around and find out, because that's what we're going to go through in this video. And I'll have chapters linked in the video, so jump around to feel free which section you want to listen to and tune into, whatever you're interested in. Or listen to the whole video. It's good for the algorithm, and it helps our channel out. So the main reason we chose Nextcloud was because it's FOSS. Now, what is FOSS, you might ask? Well, FOSS stands for Free and Open Source Software. And what is that? Free and open source software is software where the source code is available, but also it's usually licensed under something that allows you to redistribute, to use for your purposes, to change, to look at, and to improve upon. So the big advantage to open source software allows people to view and vet the code, but also to build upon it. Like a common term you can heard used is forking a project, which is just changing an avenue of a project if it's either dead and no security updates, or if somebody wants to add a new feature that the developers aren't working on. And popular licenses actually include the MIT license, the GNU GPL license, the Mozilla open license, and the Apache open license. Now, the free and open source software is commonly mistaken as just being free to use, free to download, and free as in a monetary value, but it's actually meant to be free as in Libra. So free as in freedom. A common term you can remember this by is free as in free speech, not free as in free beer. So it's a helpful way to get us to understand what does the word free mean in the term FOSS. And to help curb this, some developers have coined the term FLOSS, which actually means free Libra open source software. And that in the name it says Libra, which is free as in freedom, not free as in a monetary value. And an example of this type of licensing system, Nextcloud, which is a FOSS software, is licensed under GNU GPL v3, and that is one of the biggest driving factors of why we chose Nextcloud, because it's a license that allows people to look and vet the source code, to distribute it how they want, and to use it how they want, and change it if they want to change it for any specific purpose. Now, why don't we choose the mainstream alternatives? A big reason is data sovereignty and keeping our data and what we own private and in our hands. And Nextcloud allows us to do that, but it's not as turnkey as using a SaaS software model, software as a service, like Google Drive, OneDrive, iCloud, or Dropbox, which is turnkey. You create an account, pay a monthly subscription, but also we don't want to be tied down to more monthly subscriptions that we have to give out to these companies, because the software as a service model is very, very profitable. And that's why I've seen like Adobe products are all subscription based. They're really good, but they're subscription based, and they're only getting bigger as a company and buying up more companies. So not to say that's a bad thing, but I'd like a diverse set of tools by more independent developers just focusing on making a better product. Now, with using a third-party service, we're putting our data in the hands of that third party. We're trusting them with that data, that they're not going to use it maliciously, that it's not going to leak, that there's not going to be an external exploit or an internal leak of information. We're trusting them that they're going to keep our data safe and not use it for malicious intent and purposes. And that's just something you have to think about when you're paying for these services. It's putting your trust in another person's hands. Now, at least for our case, yes, it's good our data is in our hands and we control who sees it and where it goes and if it's publicly available or not. But also with that extra freedom to keep that data in our hands, it comes an extra responsibility. So we have to make sure it's secure, it's set up right, we have firewall rules, so we have everything set up so we don't have malicious or bad actors trying to get at our stuff. You're always going to have that on the internet, but at least historically Google's track record has been very secure, which is a reason why you could go with them if you just want to pursue security above all else. Because the thing with privacy and security, you can't have privacy without security, because without security you're not going to be private, because they're going to be able to get into your stuff very easily. So we do need a base level of security to be private. So Nextcloud is primarily a file storage and syncing service for businesses small, home users, or businesses large that have thousands of employees. And we're going to primarily use it for file storage and file syncing. So we have everything synced up to our Nextcloud, and we know those files are there, like working on documents, working on scripts, working on videos. It can all stay in Nextcloud, and it can sync through our server, and we can access it from different computers. So that's the big advantage for us, and it acts similar to Google Drive, Microsoft OneDrive, iCloud, and Dropbox. Now I do want to get one caveat out of the way first. Might be asking, well, I see it says TrueNAS Scale in the title. I thought you guys just installed TrueNAS CORE on your NAS system. And we did. But there's been changes with IX Systems, who makes TrueNAS. And it seems that TrueNAS CORE will eventually be sunsetted, and the TrueNAS Scale will just be taken over as the main system. I think the reason for this is just more app developers and more support for TrueNAS Scale. As you see when I walk through this video, I originally set it up in the app section of TrueNAS Scale, which allows us to run more things, and there's more apps on there. There's an apps thing on TrueNAS CORE, but TrueNAS CORE is based on FreeBSD. And there's not many developers developing apps on there, but at least TrueNAS Scale is based on Debian Linux, and there's way more developers developing apps for a Linux distribution. Now we're upgrading to TrueNAS Scale, and fortunately it's actually really easy, and we're upgrading to TrueNAS Scale because we get more support. Core will be sunsetted. Unfortunately, it'll be a little bit slower, but over time it'll just get better and better. It's already getting better with their new releases. Alright, so we are going to be upgrading our TrueNAS CORE instance, which is based on FreeBSD, into TrueNAS Scale. So, with that being said, without further ado, let's do that now. At least they made it way easier because we can update this through the system updater and the web GUI instead of in the command line and doing it all manually. TrueNAS has made it a lot easier for us, so I'm thankful for that. Make us novices and plebs to be able to do this. So, fast forward all this. Alright, so now, okay, we got it to sign in. Look at that, we're on Scale. We're gonna sign in with our same root user and password. Oh boy, here we go. Let's go. We are on Scale. Woo-hoo. Oh my gosh. Wow, that was actually insanely easy. I'm excited. Here we go. Awesome. Okay, so we have the NAS hooked up. And we're on Scale. Dragonfish. Anyways. Wow, I love this UI. I'm going to install jails on TrueNAS Scale to get Dockge set up so we can make our Nextcloud in a Docker container. And I think that'll just be better for us in the future going forward if we want to add any more apps, because TrueNAS Scale is actually depreciating Kubernetes support. So instead of just using that right away like I just did before, I'm redoing this stuff and getting it set up in a Docker container so it'll be easier to transport to other stuff if it changes in the future. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and we will get logged in to our TrueNAS. And then as you can see here, I already have the applications. Only thing that sucks is, okay, just log in. Oops, sorry. Sorry. Just log in. What? There. Obviously, we're on the local network, as you can see. Files and whatever, it's kind of all set up. It's working correctly, but I'll have to redo stuff because I can't figure out how to access it from the outside network. So we'll have to work on that and see how that can work for us. Basically, we're gonna set up sandboxes in JailMaker so that all these apps are separate using Docker containers. So instead of using the TrueNAS Scale's app layer, which is based on Kubernetes, which is going to be depreciated, we're going to do basically sandboxes in TrueNAS Scale, like a Linux sandbox. Not going to have as much overhead like we do with running Kubernetes in the app client that we have right here in TrueNAS, but instead we're going to create our own sandbox that has access to the data sets, the snapshots, all the amazing ZFS features that we want without this high overhead or the overhead of running a VM that doesn't get access to the main level components. So I think this will be the best way going forward. Obviously, ideally, we would like to set this all up on a separate machine, just in case anything goes down, it's not affecting our NAS storage for video production files and stuff. But we're rolling with this for now because it's the only system we have. But hopefully in the future we can set up a more streamlined system that is more redundant and more resilient to failures, stuff when we probably end up breaking stuff, everything else can still work as intended. So yeah, with that being said, let's get on with setting up Linux sandboxes with JailMaker in TrueNAS Scale. Because I guess it now supports systemd and spawn. I don't really know what those are, but I'd love to look into it. If somebody knows what they are, let us know in the comments down below. Love to hear it. So just look up Dockge here. So there's the GitHub for Dockge. Fancy, easy to use in self-React. Self-hosted Docker Compose.yml stack oriented manager. I guess the reason to use Dockge over something like Portainer is you get access to all the main files, the YAML compose files, versus in Portainer they're kind of hidden and opaque in the Portainer software. So anyways, let's do it. Anyways, you can look it up for yourself and see if something you want to do. It seems like a nice thing, low resources, low overhead thing we can do. So yeah, we're going to use this for now. We're always looking for better ways to do stuff, more streamlined ways to do stuff that we can maintain and keep up to date. So if anybody has more ideas and resources that you'd like to use, let us know. And I forgot to tell you, I got some tea. So we are going to be having some tea. Yep, so I'm drinking right here. You see it? This is called Amber Gaba. I got it from MyLeaf. It's probably my favorite tea. So I highly recommend go check it out there. I love their stuff. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get here because it's coming from London. But I've tried some other tea places and I just keep coming back to his stuff because it's just so good. I just can't complain. We're installing a Debian distro base for our Docker. Woo, down with the initial setup of jail Docker. Alright everybody, we got audio, we are recording. What is happening? What is happening? 1 second, brother. Hey everybody, I'm gonna drink some more tea. We got a different one this time. It is oh, I totally forgot, but I gotta look it up. It's an Oolong tea, but it's more of a green Oolong tea, but it's really good. Put a little caption of what it is, and I really like it. So yeah, so we're gonna work on focusing on getting go back to the shell. We started getting JailMaker set up, but then I was out of time, so now I'm back today, and hopefully we'll get all JailMaker fully set up and then Nextcloud installed on JailMaker. So with that being said, without further ado, here we go. Okay, let's see the IP that we set up. 1.73 5001. Oh yeah, that worked. It was exciting. Alright, create a username. Wow, that is gratifying right there. Very gratifying. Hey everybody, Derek here. Yeah, I know you saw me set up everything before, but I'm redoing it. Something was messed up and wrong. I'm just gonna try to get Nextcloud running on the local network and then get it accessible via Tailscale through exposing the subnet. So we're gonna do that, get it set up. Unfortunately, I kind of gotta delete a couple things, so I'll go to the shell. Okay, restarting Docker. Dockge should get set back up. I'm hoping. Let's pray. Dear Jesus, make this work. I hope. Yeah, we're getting somewhere. And our machine's connected to it, and we advertise our subnet. So we should be able to access from my phone. I'll go grab that now and show you. So I don't know how much you can see it. I'm recording the screen, but I am accessing Nextcloud. That's going to be good. There we go. This video is playing. You see we're on 5G. We set up a NAS system with TrueNAS Scale, and then put Jailmaker on it, and then we ran Docker in Jailmaker, and then created containers for our applications in Docker. And now we are able to, with the power of Tailscale, which is an overlay VPN network, we can access everything on our NAS system on our local subnet, and then all of our Docker containers anywhere in the world. So at a coffee shop, as long as you have a decent internet connection, might be a little slower, but the advantage of Tailscale, it creates an overlay VPN and a peer-to-peer connection through the internet. So if we need to, we can access everything on our system, which means we can access our Nextcloud when we're not home, at a coffee shop, etc., traveling. And that's just awesome. And we have no ports open on a firewall. Eventually we might rethink how we're going to do everything, but until then, Tailscale is a pretty awesome product. There's an awesome free, not even a free trial, it's actually a free version with its up to 3 users and 100 devices, which is just insane. I mean, try it out. I was like, what the heck, what can you lose? We're just trying it out right now. There's an alternative. If you want to self-host it, you can use Headscale. Somebody just needs to expose a public IP and then run it on their server. Regardless, Tailscale is all set up. Most of the information is never passing to Tailscale. It's running between your devices peer-to-peer. And if it needs to with like carrier grade NAT or something, it'll just talk to their coordination server, and that's about the only time it's going to pass through. And with that, I'm interested and eager to do more stuff with the NAS in home lab stuff, self-hosting stuff, getting more data sovereignty, and just owning and controlling what is ours. That's just really important to me, and I just think people just aren't aware of it. I wasn't until I got exposed to it, and I think that's one of the most important things we can hold to ourselves, and just setting a precedent and standing for our rights of our data is ours, and we should be able to use it how we want. We started another channel called Private Technology Project. I will leave the link for that in the description if you want to go check out that channel and subscribe. There's no content on there right now, but in the future there'll be a couple more series on that where we just deep dive into self-hosting, home lab stuff, and seeing what you can do for yourself, and start to create a culture and environment where we use systems that don't steal and take our data and use us as the product, or we use the products to help us instead. And with that being said, I do want to stick with the Destined YouTube channel, and if you've subscribed already, thank you so much. That means the world. We just want to keep moving forward and just want to be open and transparent on what that's going to look like for the channel. So moving forward, I think we're going to still be focusing on building our video production company so you can help fund this channel, other things we want to pursue. And with that, it'll be mostly short films, documentary work, and then anything related to filmmaking is going to be on this channel. So the Destined YouTube channel, the one you're watching right now, that'll be the main core and essence of this channel, is using the art of filmmaking to help tell stories, either through documentaries, through short films, people's testimonies, and just anything related to filmmaking and what we use and how we're using it. And that's what this channel is going to be for. Anything related to home lab and self-hosting stuff is going to be that private technology project channel that is linked in the description. And lastly, before we go, I want to show how can you help support this FOSS movement. I would recommend you go to gnu.org. They are part of the foundation of Linux. There's controversy about the name, but Linux is GNU/Linux because Linux is the kernel. GNU is everything else to help it run. But just go to their website and just look. They got a lot of helpful articles on there to help get you in to what private technology is really about and how it can start create a movement and support these projects and things that we care about and are passionate about. And the best way for us to do that is to help support these open source projects, to help support the developers, donate, support time, issue requests on GitHub. All these ways we can help generate a community around open source software. And one of the biggest needs and driving factors is documentation. So going through just setting up Nextcloud and TrueNAS, there's a lot of really good documentation, but me not being the smartest person, it was kind of hard to get around. So just having people in the community help out and create better, easier to understand documentation can only help us grow as a community, get more people to adopt it, because it'll be easier to use in the long run. So I think that would be it for this video. We installed Nextcloud on our TrueNAS system and brought you along with, and we got it accessible on an outside public network, which is pretty awesome too. And I just think that was one of the coolest things when I got it working. It took a while, but I was like, yeah, now that's cool. Yeah, I hope you learned something along the way, either if it's about TrueNAS Scale, open source software, Nextcloud, and what big tech companies actually do with your data, anything along those lines. I just hope it can help you get curious and learn more about open source software, why I think it's important, and why I want to start moving more of my systems over to open source software, or just software that values users' freedoms and rights. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like on the video and leave a comment of your favorite part or even your worst part, or just some constructive criticism. Just anything really. Just leave a comment. Let us know what other types of videos you want. If you like this style of video, if you're looking for something different, like I said, we're going to start that other channel, and hopefully we can see you there too. Maybe subscribe and be an early bird before we start posting any content. With that being said, if you could subscribe to this channel if you really like our content and enjoy watching it, and hit the bell notification to be notified when we post our next video, and that really helps the channel out. The best thing you can do for us is either leave a comment if you feel so inclined, or just like the video if you really enjoyed it. And I have one last point before I go, and if you made it this far in this video, leave a sunglasses emoji so I know you're a real homie and you're still watching to the end. I really just want to form a culture and a mindset around why do we do what we do. Me, for my reasons of why I do what I do, is based in my faith and my background, and I just want to share people to think more critically about the why versus the what, and think about the why do I want to do this in the first place? What's going to come of it, and what's the meaning behind it all? Asking those big questions in life, like why am I here? What is my purpose? And where am I going? What am I doing with what I have? Are some of the most important questions I think we can try to answer. We're never going to have a fully fleshed out answer to all of them, obviously, but I just encourage people to think more about that and live their life in a more deep, integrated way so we can form these relationships and communities and live a life that is fulfilled and satisfying with others that we could share these joys with. I'm signing off. I love you guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.